Welcome back to Tendencies. I'm your host, Jay Suave.
And I am Jreese.
We just want to say if you are back this week, we want to thank you. If you've been here every week, also want to thank you for that. This week we've had I know Jreese has had a crazy last 24 hours. And I know this game was kind of crazy. We're going to get into our weekly recap, but I want to address the elephant in the room. So we're going to start off hot. I want to know your thoughts about the Eagles versus 49ers.
Oh my goodness. Eagles got blown out 42-19 to the San Francisco 49ers yesterday at 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And man, I'm not telling you, I was sick, but I was so numb by the end of the game. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, to get away with our only excuse, okay, right? San Francisco had 10 days to prepare while the Eagles played their third game in 13 days while the 49ers had the motivation to embarrass the Eagles after what happened in the NFC Championship last year. Also, the refs missed a lot of calls on the Eagles. On the 49ers.
Blah blah blah.
So those are my only excuses. I'm not gonna really complain because that's a great football team. That was a great win by them. So first things first, I've seen a lot of discourse that Brock Purdy should be the MVP now. That Brock Purdy is the favorite now in terms of betting, which I think is crazy. And he played good yesterday. He played pretty okay. I'll say that.
He made history against y'all.
Stop.
He literally made history against y'all.
Bro,
Hear this. Purdy has thrown at least 3 touchdowns with a passer rating of 140 or more, tying Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers for the most such games in a single season in league history.
Man,
and this is against a good defense.
Look.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's pretty okay.
Look. All I say is pretty okay. Look, I say this. Brock Purdy's not even the most valuable player on his team. That still is CMC. But Brock's stats are a little exaggerated. I'm going to say this. Because Debo broke off 2 screens and a crosser over the middle that was like 5 yards for 3 50 to 30 to 50 yard touchdowns. Right? So that's 3 touchdowns out of his 4 right there. And that's also like a cool 90 to 100 yards of his stats. So all I'm saying is Brock Purdy, did he play good yesterday? Yes, but are his stats exaggerated and he's getting a little boosted right now in talks? Yes, I do think so. But he did play a good game today. The other conversation is the Jalen Hurts and the Eagles frauds? No, not at all. We still have the best record in football right now. We lost. I'm sorry that we lost to a really good team yesterday. Mm-hmm. I know that's really tough. We drastically went from the number 1 seed back all the way down to the number 1 seed. Like, calm down. We knew Philly, that if Philly played behind this week, that they were going to lose this game. That's exactly what happened, right? We got rolling really early. Then our red zone play calling stagnated, and we didn't end up scoring touchdowns. We ended up with 6 points, and we could have made it 14-0 early and would have been a real hole.
That's the real reason y'all lost.
Yeah, we really just couldn't execute. And then that's really what put us in a big hole. So Jalen Hurts, I still think, is the front runner for the MVP award. But
no.
Look, yes, I am a little biased. And I say the only main competition that he has right now is Dak Prescott, and I think you could put either or as the front runner right now. I understand if you have Dak at the front runner right now after this past week, but I still have Jalen Hurts right there, especially after what he was able to do against the Chiefs, Bills, and the Cowboys, and the Dolphins, which are all really good teams. So that's all I have to say.
Next week,
that part.
Lamar's going to get off this bye week and show you who the MVP is. And then okay. I also kind of want to talk about how you feel about this. Dre Greenlaw, Dom DeSandro.
Oh, yeah.
You saw the whole thing. I know you're still biased with the Eagles and everything.
Dom stood on business.
He did stand on business. But at the same time, me personally, I feel like as players on the field, it wasn't escalated to the point where you got to have security on the field. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I get that Dre Greenlaw basically hit this man in the face, but before that even happened, Dom had his hand in Dre Greenlaw's face. And Dre Greenlaw probably don't even know who that is, so he probably like, who is this? Why he got his hand in my face? And it's just like, well, I don't even know. Like,
all I gotta say about that is I really don't think Dom was that in the wrong because just look, it happened on the Philadelphia sideline, so of course that head of security is gonna be over there because he's on the sideline during the game. And then a personal foul call, and from what I've heard or from what I've read, is that he was trying to de-escalate the situation. Yes, he put his hands in his face, but then there's no reason for you to swing or not. He didn't even swing, but to to make physical contact with a member of the Philadelphia staff, right? And that's all I got to say about that. So I think they were right in ejecting him, and I understand why they ejected Dom too. But all I got to say is Dom right now, he's a hero in Philadelphia, and everybody over there is loving him right now. One more thing I have to say is Jalen Hurts still has a lot of meaningful wins coming from behind against the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills. So going forward, I think he'll be fine, and Philly needs to just rely on the run more in these games. Because going up early in the game and in the half, by the halftime, DeAndre Swift only has 4 carries is unacceptable. It ended the game with only 6 carries, which he's one of the main reasons why we've been able to come back in these games because he brings a spark to his offense. And then this especially we'll talk about this more later when we talk about the run going further into the season. But he's a really good running back. He's a top 10 running back in the league right now, arguably top 5 on US. And all I have to say about that is if you don't give him the touches, if you don't give him any touches during the game, you're gonna put yourself in a bind because if you're not able to rely on the run game to open up the pass game like most good teams are able to do, like the 49ers, for example. Once they got that run game going, you saw the pass game open up so much against us. Like you'll be in trouble by the time playoffs come. So we need to work on everyone in the run more. A lot of people in Philadelphia are looking for Frank Reich to come on as an offensive advisor. Not a coordinator. Obviously Brian Johnson's not gonna get fired this year at all. Even though a lot of people in Philadelphia wanted that to happen, he's not gonna get fired during the year because we're 10-2. So that doesn't make any sense. But if we got someone like Frank Reich, who did help us win that Super Bowl in 2017, I know he didn't have a really good, really success in Indianapolis or in Carolina, but just having him as an advisor would really help this offense a little bit, I think.
Get that guy off my field, bro.
And I have 2 more things to bring up. My bad if I'm ranting a little bit. I'm really upset about this game.
You're good.
But in coverage yesterday, Brock Purdy had, 300 yards, 314, I think.
I thought it was like 347 or something.
I thought it was 314. Or am I thinking of that?
Over 300.
He had over 300 yards. But let me read you some of the coverage stats of yesterday, all right? First off, Deebo Samuel was calling James Bradbury trash. James Bradbury went out there, had 0 targets his way, allowed 0 catches, and 0 yards. So James Bradbury, James Bradbury came to play. Too bad I can't say that for a lot of guys on our defense. Darius Slade, 33 yards allowed in the game in coverage, which is really good. He had Brandon Ayuk had 3 catches on him for 33 yards, and that was really all he gave up.
How many times was he targeted?
I think he was targeted like 7.
Right. 7.
So he had three receptions for 33 yards. Like that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then Roby had 15. Ellis allowed 33 yards. Ricks had 44 yards and a touchdown allowed. Hassan Reddick, which no reason he should be in pass coverage, had 9 yards allowed. So I guess I understand, but he's because he's an athlete.
Yeah.
But, Kevin Byard 4 yards allowed. Reed Blankenship 2 yards allowed and 1 touchdown. And then you have Nicholas Morrow who was out there running cardio. I'll say he had 175 yards allowed on him and 2 touchdowns. Like that's up there with Michael Jaquette numbers against the Cowboys when he allowed like 9 receptions, 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys in 1 year. He let Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup all cook him in the same game. So
yeah, I kind of want to touch on the James Bradbury situation. I feel like I know he had 0 targets, 0 catches, but of course you're gonna have 0 catches whenever you have 0 targets. But I feel like I guess I'll have to watch the film, but I feel like there's more of a story to that because if you cannot get thrown to the whole game, that doesn't mean you weren't open during the game.
But watching the game, James Bradbury really did good. The only time I saw like a pass happen his way that got caught, he was in a cover 2. They ran a bubble screen, so that's not really on him because he wasn't going into that zone anyways. Because that's one of the plays Deebo scored on. He ran a bubble screen inside, and then James Bradbury got blocked, and then he ran right into Nicholas Morrow's zone where Nicholas Morrow should have been able to get there and make the tackle, and then he didn't, and he scored a touchdown all the way downfield, I think that was one of the 40-yard screen passes. And then the last thing I want to bring up is this bounce back going to be crazy because Darius Leonard just signed a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles this morning as the time of recording. So all I have to say is we will be back, brother. We will be back.
Now, what are y'all going to do if y'all get cooked?
Hey, we're not going to trust the process. We're going to get Zach Ertz, too. We're going to get Quez Watkins off the field. We're on 2 tight end sets when Dallas Goedert gets back next week, too.
No, for real.
We're coming back.
But I do want to touch on one more game. It was one of our games of the week last week. The Texans versus the Broncos. It was a pretty good game. The Texans ended up winning 22-17. Just an overall really good game by this team. I mean, I wasn't really expecting Stroud to go, I won't say crazy, but I was expecting a little bit more fight from the Broncos defense, especially the way they've been playing the last 6 weeks. But this man, Tank Dell got hurt in the beginning of the game, and you just see Nico Collins killing Surtain. Like, one pass was for 52 yards. You're like, holy, this team is legit, bro.
Yeah, but that Tank Dell loss is really going to impact them going forward, especially trying to make a playoff push, because Tank Dell has been outstanding this year.
Yeah. He ended up with 16 for 27, 274 yards and a touchdown. And Dameon Pierce had more carries than Devin Singletary this week, so that was pretty surprising. So
I'm not that surprised because, like, I know, like, they pretty
it's
much.
only like the second time.
Yeah, but, like, what's it called? Especially seeing Dameon Pierce, last year, when he gets hot, he's really hot. So,
It just wasn't common this year to get more carries.
Yeah, obviously. Another thing I want to talk about, Green Bay upsets the Kansas City Chiefs. Jordan Cook, last 3 games has been cooking, right? He outplayed Patrick Mahomes and outplayed the Lions, both in prime time the last 2 weeks. Like, Jordan Love, a lot of people have been having his doubts because, he's been pretty on and off this year. But, give him, and people they shouldn't re-sign his deal or give him that extension at the end of the year or whatever. I say give him another year. Obviously he's still learning, being his first year starting in the league. And he doesn't have the greatest weapons around him. His number one target is Romeo Dobbs or Christian Watson. So
put some respect on Jaden Reed's name.
Hey, all I gotta say is I'm a big fan of Romeo Dobbs. I'll say that. I do like Romeo Dobbs a lot. But not Mahomes. What did I just say?
My homie.
Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league, no matter what. But now opposing teams are starting to realize that his weapons aren't great, so that's causing Mahomes to do a lot more. So if they can key on stopping really just Travis Kelce, that receiving core is not going to do much because they don't have a real dignified number one. That's why they should have traded for Mike Evans come the trade deadline. That would have been a big help for them if they to go forward.
Bro.
But
speaking of Mike Evans, bro. Speaking of Mike Evans.
I didn't bring it up this week.
He didn't bring it up, but y'all, I gotta talk about it, y'all. My Panthers, bro. Speaking of Mike Evans, 7 receptions, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. I gotta tell y'all a story.
Before that, I'll just say Mike Evans, also historic, 10th season in a row with 1,000 yards, historic.
And he got it off a curl route, bro. I was so mad. And I want to tell you this story. It literally happened yesterday. I'm at my buddy's house, right? The Panthers had just scored. It was 10-7. And I'm like, this is their first play on offense, guys. And I'm like, bro, we are really about to win this game in the third quarter. I swear, y'all, as soon as I say that, Baker throws a bomb to Mike Evans, and he catches it for a touchdown. And I'm literally just sitting there, and 2 of my buddies are laughing at me. I'm sitting there, jaw to the floor, bro, like pick my lip up type deal. Like, it was literally insane, and I was so mad. And the play calling just hasn't even been better. Because when I tell y'all, no way we are 4th and 1. Game on the line. Chuba's at this point, 25 carries, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's been playing decent all game. 4th and 1, and we pass the ball. Like, ain't no way. And Bryce has no time, obviously, because he never has no time.
Yeah.
And there's no point because nobody gets open.
Bro, what do you mean? You have the best receivers in the league. Obviously.
Look
at your story on Instagram. You'll see that they have so much separation.
If y'all be seeing my socials, bro, I be posting pictures of Carolina receivers. And it's just like, bro, they're stuck to the DB, bro.
No separation. Who's guarding who?
Who is guarding who? If anything, the DB is the receiver at that point.
All right, last game I want to talk on real quick is there was a shootout in AT&T Stadium. It was great performances by both Dak and Geno. Seattle wide receivers were having their way with Deron Bland. Deron Bland didn't play great on Thursday night, even though he did have that one interception. He was getting cooked pretty much all night. It was a good pick. I'll say this, though. Deron Bland was in good coverage most of the night when a lot of those catches happened. But he was on DK for the whole, pretty much the whole first half. And DK is just too big and strong to be able to, because Deron Bland was playing press coverage. Deron Bland, if you're in press coverage against DK Metcalf, put a hand on him. You can't just let him get a free release because he will body you at the point of release, at the point of catch. And you saw that on the first catch. He got the slant, went all the way down the field. He got then he got the little fade route. Then he got cooked by Jackson Smith and Jigba on the corner route in the back of the end zone. Got the pass interference on him that led him all the way down to the 1 yard line. And DK caught another catch on him for another touchdown.
If you had DK on your fantasy this week, congratulations on your win.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I played Jalen. He had DK Metcalf on his fantasy.
Yeah, he did play me this week, yo. I'm beating the stuffing out of him, bro.
Oh my goodness. My playoff hopes are dead.
Yo, this guy has one kicker playing tonight.
I don't have a kicker.
I thought you do. I thought you had the Chargers kicker.
No, I'm Jake Elliott.
Oh, well, boys, it's over, boys. It's over.
Done.
He's cooked.
Nah, man. I don't even want to go over the show anymore, man. My fantasy team, bro. There's a pot in it this year. There's money on the line. Oh my goodness. But let me go back to the freaking Cowboys game, I guess. The defense for Dallas was a big concern for both these teams, especially with Dallas. I think that, they do have a really great defense. But when teams are able to make Micah pretty much a non-factor, there's a lot more stuff for everyone else to do, and I think that opens up a lot more space for the opponent's receiving core and their quarterback, especially if they have a good quarterback. Because, Seattle does not have a great O-line. And you saw that at the end of the game when they decided not to block Michael Parsons on the last play of the game, which was stupid.
Bro, as a former offensive lineman, that's literally the worst thing to watch.
That offensive line was playing pretty good against one of the best pass rushers in the league. So the fact that bad O-line pretty much was able to do that, not even that bad, but you know what I mean by bad.
Yeah. They're just young. Both of their tackles were rookies last year, bro.
That's something you can't do, especially when you have so as a defense, when a team like that is able to, realize that all we had to do was block Michael Parsons, and then they go out there and throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns on you. You guys need to find something else to do, right? You guys need to. They realized at the end of the game a little too late that you got to send pressure that way, and then rush Geno because Geno is a good quarterback. But he does get flustered a little bit under that pressure. But all I got to say is that was a good game by Dallas. Dak is now, a number 1 or number 2 candidate in the MVP race on who you ask. Like I said earlier, I think he's a number 2, but, we'll go into that later.
Bro.
But exciting news, guys. College football playoffs have arrived, everybody. Okay? Let's go ahead. Let's break it down real quick. I'm going to lay it out real quick and let you go into it because you know a lot more than I do because obviously this year I have been really busy on Saturdays whenever college games do be going on. The only teams I really watched this year were Colorado and Alabama. So right now I'm going to say this. Roll Tide, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Roll Tide.
No.
All right, number 1 we have Michigan at 13-0. Number 2 we have Washington at 13-0. Yeah, number 3 we have Texas at 12-1. Alabama at 12-1. 13-0 FSU did not make it, unfortunately, which angered a lot of people, which they should have, because they're a 13-0 team in college. And all I got to say before I let you go is I am a Milrow advocate. Let's go. Hey, Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
I cannot believe you're actually saying Roll Tide, bro. Just go ahead. Just go ahead and take it out your mouth for me, first of all. Just go ahead and take it out your mouth. But yeah, you got top 4 teams: Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Bama. Michigan won their conference championship game 26-0 against Iowa. Bama won, obviously, 27-24 against Georgia. Crazy game, by the way. It was looking bad whenever it was 17-7. I think we knew by that time Georgia was cooked. But, I mean, you got Texas winning versus Oklahoma State. They routed them 49-21. Florida State with the win against Louisville, 16-6. But with all this even happening, I still felt as if Florida State was robbed. They're a undefeated Power 5 conference champ, and somehow you don't make the playoff. And that is the first time that's happened ever. And there was a guy last week on the committee literally saying how they wouldn't even take this injury from Jordan Travis into the selection they did. And bro just lied on live TV because that's exactly what they did. Wins matter. Losses matter. But the committee just seemed to forget that this week. And that's just basically like the worst thing you can do, bro. And it's just kind of frustrating because I'd be talking to people about it. And it's just like Bama fans I talked to about it. Because it was like if it wasn't Bama, then people would be like, yeah, they got robbed. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
Yeah.
If it was literally anyone else, they'd be like, okay, FSU can beat them. And at the same time, you got Mike Norvell. Let me lay this out for y'all, because this was facts. He said, we are not only an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, but we also played 2 Power 5 non-conference games away and won both of them. So how are y'all supposed to think this is an acceptable way to even evaluate a team? You feel me?
Yeah.
And what happened on Sunday, or I'm pretty sure it was Sunday whenever they came out with the rankings.
Yeah, it was Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning. It just basically goes against everything that was true and right in college football.
It's a good thing that next year, was it a 12-team playoff format?
Yeah.
So, it's obviously not going to happen again. But the fact that it happened this year, especially FSU, who has a really good team, and they did have a really good shot at going for the chip, it's unfair to them and those guys. Even though I am rolling with Alabama right now. They should have made it. Because it was really weird, a weird situation.
Yeah.
Because especially, they beat Georgia, obviously, who was the number 1 ranked team. But then you have Texas, who beat them, right?
They valued that win over Bama the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So
you get those 2 teams, right, who you think are going to make it, and you think FSU should make it, right? They're the only other undefeated team, right? And then to end up not having them on there and putting both Texas and Alabama in there, especially. So I definitely think that Alabama is a sneak, and then Texas, it makes sense for them to be on there. But FSU definitely should have took that place instead of Bama, so it should have been FSU at 3, then Texas at 4,
Yeah, I feel you. And part of that, if we would have seen a college football playoff with no SEC team, that would have been wild. Because now that there's an SEC team in there, might be the reason I might be rolling with the Crimson Tide too.
Same.
Not because I want no.
Same.
Go Bucks. OH. But
yeah, I knew you weren't gonna be messing with Michigan. I knew that for a fact.
Yeah, and honestly, I could care less who wins. If I'm being honest, I'd probably want like Washington to win it or something. But I just feel like Alabama just has the resume, bro. Like that's pretty much what it is. It's coaching. Them boys play like dogs. You got Dallas Turner on the defense. He don't play no games at all.
Milroe is a definite improvement over week 1. He's gotten better every week, which you love to see. Yeah, as long as, because I know you don't want Michigan win. I really don't care either way. I don't want Michigan to win either, just because you don't. Because like I said, I don't watch college ball like that. Don't want Texas to win because, one of our boys is a Texas fan.
Oh my goodness, he would never shut up.
We would not hear the end of it.
I wouldn't even mind if they won because I'm from Texas, but
it's just him. It's just him that makes it worse.
He literally be like, all y'all's teams suck just because they won.
Even though he doesn't even watch ball either. He doesn't even watch. But number 2, I got number 2, number 1. I really don't care. I wouldn't want Washington or Alabama to win, but especially because you don't like Alabama, so I'm leaning towards Roll Tide. The Crimson Tide.
It be your own boys, though.
So, like I said when we started talking about this, Roll Tide, baby, Roll Tide. You see, Pat McAfee at the beginning of the that was
whenever he sang the whole Georgia song, and then
give me Alabama,
and then everyone was so sick.
I was crying, bro, because I watched it after the fact, and I was like, bro's a fool.
Yeah, but even speaking on that, Speaking of Alabama, they actually opened up as an underdog to the Michigan game, which is fair. I mean, they're the number 4
Yeah.
seed, but at the same time, Alabama fans are salivating, bro. Like they are licking their chops for this game, because SEC ball is different. In Michigan, they don't play. Besides Ohio State and Penn State, they don't play nobody. You feel me? So them opening up as an underdog was kind of crazy to me. But I'm hoping for a good game. I'm hoping for all good games for the New Year's 6. But just still, I still can't believe the committee. Like, I literally just got the notification that the committee didn't think that the Seminoles could win a championship. And basically, you're just telling them their regular season means nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine if they had it like that in the NFL.
oh my
Oh
goodness,
my goodness.
that bro.
Like imagine what's it called? Let's say since like the 4 best teams in the NFC, right?
Yeah.
You got the Eagles, the Niners, the Cowboys, and then you got Detroit, yeah. So you get these 4 teams, and then since the Cowboys lost to the Arizona Cardinals or something like that, you know. Or let me think of a better situation. What's a better situation?
It's kind of hard to do
Yeah.
with
The NFL. Like if it ended right now and we had those same rules, how would that work out? Like it's
just
because since they lost to the Cardinals, they're not a real, and they don't think the Dallas Cowboys have a real shot at the chip. So instead, they're gonna put like Green Bay over them.
But I mean, it would depend on like how the power rankings are, because there's divisions and stuff like that. So if the Cowboys say we're 2nd seed, y'all lose to, or Cowboys are 2nd seed, they lose to Arizona, which is, let's put it in perspective right here. I'm just gonna say they're like the 12th seed or something, college terms. Let's say they're 12th seed, they would probably drop down to like 7, 8, and then Arizona would probably move up to like 6, something like that. But it's just odd. It's literally how the committee goes every week. I feel like the committee's cooked, bro. They need to put me on there. Nah, for real, bro. They need to put me on that committee because they don't be thinking, bro.
Let's go ahead and move into our next topic, which is the importance of the run game going forward. You know, as playoffs comes around and it gets colder outside, why is the run game so important for NFL teams as we get to this state of the year?
You know, whenever you can run the ball, it speaks volumes. Especially you just said it's getting cold outside. And even teams that have dynamic passing, who have dynamic options in the passing game, use the run to get great success to pass the ball. You feel me? Play action is literally one of the greatest things you can do whenever you have a run game. And it's just a great way to take advantage of defenses these days. And it's the difference between regular season and playoffs. We literally talked about this yesterday. But whenever you can win games in the regular season by throwing the ball. But whenever it gets to the playoffs, it's about game management and making sure you have the ball longer or you keep on scoring. So whenever you can run the ball and manage the game, you win games. And I know, like me saying that, you see teams who have won the Super Bowl, last maybe 10 years, they haven't had that good of a running back. The best running back out of that bunch is probably like Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
So, like, you see the Chiefs, they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire whenever they won Isaiah Pacheco. Teams like that. I mean,
Leonard Fournette
won one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he wasn't the same Fournette he was in 2018.
But then there are also other good running backs. You got LeGarrette Blount, like, as one of them. You know, helped
Boy
the
got
Patriots.
fetched so many times.
Bro, they get fetched. Bro was a good power back. You know, he pounded the defense. What you need, pause. But you know what you that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, but it's not like you'll see Destin top 5 running back.
Of course not.
Winning the Super Bowl. So like
the importance of the run game is really important. You know, like you said, you know, the weather is getting bad, and teams are going to rely on the run game. And teams that are constructed to dominate in the trenches will have a lot of success in the playoffs. That includes teams like Philadelphia, San Francisco, Baltimore. You know, the Lions, the Dolphins. Teams like even like the Dolphins are like probably the best constructed team to win a Super Bowl because they do have a really great run game, but they also have that dynamic pass game that goes along with it. And so just having a good run game will open up the pass game at the end of the day. That's exactly what you want to do with a good run game. And as we get closer to play, that's why I'm so mad that last game we didn't run as much as we should have against the 49ers because this is a later game. This is the time where you want to start implementing that run game more and more. And the fact that we weren't able to, or we didn't at least try to, was really frustrating. And then teams that have a really good pass game, and like have a really good quarterback, they're still important, but it's not going to help them as much going forward to win the game. Like teams like that, you have Kansas City, who they do have Isaiah Pacheco, which is their best running back they've had since Kareem Hunt was there. And like you saw last game, he did really good before he got ejected. So you have teams like Kansas City, Minnesota, Dallas, who have really dynamic passing offenses, but their run game has a lot left to be desired, right? Dallas has Tony Pollard, who is a really good back, but you've seen lately, like he had a pretty okay game last game, but he hasn't been able to do much for the Cowboys as a rusher. Yeah. So that's definitely something that they need to take some of the pressure off of Dak Prescott going into the playoffs. Because once Dak gets in those high pressure moments, we've seen time and time again he hasn't been able to come out in the end. So having a good run game is really important in that situation.
Yeah, I also want to put this in perspective. Last year, y'all remember whenever Justin Fields ran for like 1,000 yards, right? Mm-hmm. So last year, the Chicago Bears were averaging around 195 yards on the ground per game. They didn't keep that up the whole season. If they did, they would have broke the rushing record set by the Baltimore Ravens in 2019, where Lamar won MVP with all them rushing yards. But just to put that in perspective, and that Bears team was terrible last year. Terrible. But, I mean, whenever you can run the ball, it literally shows volumes, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing else you can do if you can run the ball, bro. And I feel like it's also less expensive than trying to build a pass game. Because trying to find good receivers is so much harder than getting a solid O-line. And you don't even need a crazy back. You just need a back with vision. So, like, you got a back with vision, you're going to be in your bag. And just a good run game keeps the defense honest.
Obviously. Of course. Let's go ahead and get into our games of the week. You wanna switch off, everyone?
Yeah, we can switch off.
Our first game, I have the Eagles at Cowboys, of course. Rivalry week. This is where boys become men. This will show your true colors. And this is a great matchup for Philadelphia because I've said coming into this week, going into this weekend, like against the 49ers, and I don't think I said it on the pod, but you heard me say it, that we obviously were going to drop one of the two games. It was going to be either the Niners or the Cowboys. And I think it's more important that we lost that game to the Niners now than we lose the Cowboys now, because if we lose the Cowboys, I feel like it's going to have a lot more implications on us in the NFC East.
There's more meaning to it.
Yeah. So this is a game that's a must-win not must-win, but it's like we really need to win in Dallas, which will be hard because like Dallas is 14-0 in the last 14 home games. So we need to make sure that
Dang, yeah. That's a crazy stat.
So we need to make sure that we apply the pressure and keep that number one seed because after this game the gauntlet ends, right? We were projected to go 2-4 in this gauntlet. We went right now we're 4-1. So we kind of flipped the what people thought we were gonna be, but because after this gauntlet, like our schedule is really really easy. We have the Giants twice, we have the Cardinals, and we have the Seahawks. And Seahawks is gonna be the hardest game in that span, but I think we're gonna come out on top against the Seahawks in that situation. So I think Jalen Hurts will be able to bounce back. We've seen this time and time again after a loss. I don't think Jalen Hurts has had a back-to-back loss since the 2021 season. So I think we should be not favored because obviously Dallas, like I said before, 14-0 in the last 14 home games.
Yeah.
So but I think we should. I don't think the line should be that wide because I think Philadelphia will come in with a huge chip on their shoulder, wanting to come in after the loss of the 49ers and show, hey,
boy,
we're
that
really
stadium
for real.
Gonna be rocking.
I know. Hey, wait, I'm gonna say this. Eagles are gonna win. If we lose, Jalen, take a picture of me next week. I have a Cowboys jersey, and I'll take a picture of the Cowboys jersey if we lose.
We are posting that on the socials. but yeah, man. One of my games for the week, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Raiders and Vikings on there. I really like this game just because I've kind of been high on the Raiders ever since they've been at 500. Mm-hmm. They took that bad loss like week 11 when they could have been 6-5 and still second in their division, but then they went down to the Broncos, who took over second place in the division at that point. But I mean, you got Justin Jefferson, who should be back this week, coming off the bye, and the Raiders are coming off the bye too. So I think that'll be a pretty good game.
Yep. I also have LA and the Rams. You know, LA coming off a really good win against a really good defense in Cleveland. And then the Ravens coming off of their bye week. So I think the Ravens, last one was not that great. Lamar had only 200, I think it was 200 yards in total, and he had one touchdown. And then that obviously wasn't a great game. So I think that the Rams are going to try to exploit those weaknesses. But it won't be easy, though, because the Ravens are coming off of 2 weeks of preparation against them of rest. So they're going to be rejuvenated. And I feel like it should be a good game. And also, Puka had just broken the Rams' receiving record for a rookie in a single season. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say it's a shame that he was drafted in the same draft class as C.J. Stroud, because he deserves to win Rookie of the Year, but he can't because C.J. Stroud also really deserves it, and C.J. obviously is going to win it. So I just think, Puka, if he was drafted like a year or two, not even a year or two early, because he had, Jamar. Yeah. And then, I don't even.
And in the future, too, you might have Caleb Marvin Harris.
Oh my goodness. Like, Puka, it's dang, I feel bad for Puka. That's all I got to say.
Bro, it's all good. But for my second game, I do want to touch on that game you just talked about, the Rams versus the Rams versus Browns. And it was a pretty good game. It was a good game for the Rams because we talked about this last week. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the Rams they're 6-6 now, and so are the Seahawks. And I said if the Seahawks lose to the Cowboys, the Rams have a legitimate chance to be second in the NFC West. But my second game of the week is going to be the Browns versus Jaguars, because I want to see Trevor Lawrence go against that defense. And seeing the Browns and Rams game, this man Joe Flacco was low-key. He was low-key throwing dots, bro. He was low-key throwing dots. But, I mean, it just got out of hand at the end. They ended up scoring 2 touchdowns late, bro. So,
Sean McVay said he had, what's his face? What's the running back's name?
Kyron Williams?
Yeah, he said he had him on his fantasy. That's what he said.
But, yeah, bro, like, I think it just got out of hand at the end. I thought it was a good game. I thought the Browns were going to pull away with that one. I'm not going to lie.
I also did, too. The last game I have is Seattle versus San Fran. Seattle needs this win bad. So I think that it's not helped by the fact that it is in San Francisco. I think that's going to be very much against Seattle. But Seahawks are coming off of 3 straight losses, and they are a good team. So a team with 3 straight losses, and 2 of them they should have won. So it's been a really close game. So I think San Francisco's coming off a big win. I think this is a clear opportunity for upset for Seattle. And then the last thing I have to say about that is, Seattle, please. I need y'all to mollywop the Niners.
No shot.
Please, Seattle.
In my last game, it's just going to go back to what Jerry said earlier. I still got Eagles versus Cowboys. Just best rivalry in football, unless you're an AFC North fan. So that's about it.
All right, let's get into our top 5 teams. And I'm gonna go first because I'm really hurt that the Eagles dropped, even though they're not at 5. But at number 5 I have the Miami Dolphins. Kansas City, after losing this week against the Green Bay Packers, they're still a great team. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. But Miami, you saw what they did to the Washington Commanders. They pooped on them, man. It was embarrassing for the Commanders. Riverboat Ron is gonna be gone in a few days, hopefully. He should be. And y'all saw that, what's it called? Like they were practicing that celly on Hard Knocks. You saw they were practicing the roller coaster celly. Like that's how little they thought of you, man. Like a team that fun is gonna be up there, and then because they're gonna bring a bunch of energy that a lot of these teams don't have. That's what you like. This is the energy that you saw in the Philadelphia Eagles last year. The Miami Dolphins have that energy that we had, that fun energy where it's just fun for you to watch them. So I think they will make a really good playoff push, especially at this time of the year as we see that playoff picture comes more clear. Number 4, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Right, they had a great win against the Seattle Seahawks, which I think they should have lost that game, but it doesn't matter because they didn't. They obviously won that game. So the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott's playing really great, electric. Stephen A. always says Dak Prescott in December is his best month of the year. So, we're seeing it right now. Dak played really great. He played turnover-free football. He had a couple bad sacks that, he shouldn't have taken. But then you see him break off that one sack, and then go out there and then throw a dot down the field, which is an insane play. I have number 3. I have the Eagles.
Yes.
God dang, man.
Yes.
It hurts me to say. I knew all that playing from behind was gonna bite us in the butt, but I didn't think it was gonna happen as bad as it did. Like I said earlier, the 49ers are a really good football team, so I can't be too mad at the loss. We're still number 1. They have the best record in football right now, but that was just a really bad loss. So respectfully, we had to go down. Number 2, I have the 49ers. They just beat us. There's not more to say. They beat us. They're also a really good football team. But at the end of the day, even though a lot of people are saying they're the best team in football, which, I understand why. They have the best overall roster. I do have the Baltimore Ravens at my number 1. I think at the end of the day, if you have the Ravens up against the 49ers, I think the Ravens are going to win that one. I think Lamar is going to be a little bit too much for the defense to handle because he's more of a dynamic rusher than Jalen Hurts. The only question about them is that their receiving core is really on-off. You never know if you're going to get, Zay Flowers going crazy like he did last week, or you're going to see OBJ and Nelson Aguilar dropping passes that are wide open. So that's my top 5. Hopefully Philadelphia can make their way back up to 1 before the end of the season. But it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. Those are really great football teams.
But who knows? They'll probably run the ball more than 6 times.
I hope so.
Bro, if Philly beats Cowboys this Sunday, I already know this man's going to put them at 1. Again, he'd be like, Philly, they're at 1. But anyways, y'all.
Stay tuned. You'll see. You'll see.
Anyways, y'all, this week was kind of a shake-up in the rankings, obviously. But at number 5, this team coming off a bye, and it was a toss-up between 2 teams because I felt as if the Kansas City Chiefs have fell out my top 5. So my number 5 team is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. And just because I've been high on this team all year, they're 5-0 on the road. 3-3 at home, which is kind of sad, but they lost some tough games at home. I think if it came down to it, just them managing the game, I think they'd beat Miami. But number 4, I have the Dallas Cowboys, and they should be higher, but I'm valuing that Eagles win over the Cowboys, obviously. But just one of those things to where, like, you lost to them, why would I rank you over them? Mm-hmm. And at number 3, I have Philadelphia Eagles. I just came off a really tough loss. They dropped 2 spots in my rankings. Tough game. We got Jreese crying over here. And then number 2, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Still a good team. They've been at number 2 for literally the longest time on my list. This team on my list has seen teams jump them and go below them, bro. But at number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. It's crazy that, like, I had them at 1, like, week 2 and week 3, and the rest of the weeks they weren't. But now they're back. I mean, they're just the best roster in football. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's really nothing else to say. Best football team in football. Best running back in football. Like, CMC, I miss you, bro. Come back. Please.
CMC, you are an Eagle. You are
Bro,
an Eagle.
if you went to Philadelphia, it'll never happen.
It would never happen.
I'm not even gonna go into that.
It would never happen, right?
No. Don't look at me like that.
It would never happen, right?
Right?
Derrick Henry would never come to the Eagles, right?
Bro, I saw some actual crazy stuff about that. But then I also saw him to the Ravens, too.
I'm not gonna lie. I think he's probably gonna go in the offseason. He's probably going to the Cowboys or the Ravens. I won't be surprised.
Bro, it needs to go to the Ravens. I need to see Lamar with the ring.
Mm-hmm. This is his best year. This is his best chance, I think. So,
I'm knowing.
his best chance. So he has to take advantage of the opportunity.
Not for real.
All right, before we head out, I just want to say this. Patriots suck. The first team in NFL since like the 50s to lose 3 straight games. I didn't mention this in my weekly recap because I forgot, but they lost 3 straight games while holding their opponent to less than 10 points in each game. Like, how do you do that?
Bro, honestly, this game looked like just like a backyard game of football where your older brother is like hungover or something, but you still can't win because it's like your lack of physical ability.
And then like the thing is, the Chargers could have won by more if Quentin Johnson was a capable receiver, was able to like I've never seen someone drop so many passes that are that open. Like I called him before, this is Jalen Reagor with dreads. TCU receivers aren't doing great in the NFL. Well, that's all I have to say. Is Jalen Reagor even on the active roster right now? I think he's on the Patriots practice squad.
Bro, probably, bro.
All I got to say is Patriots, y'all need to sign. Y'all need to make Malik Cunningham the starter next week. See, what worse could he do?
No, for real.
I feel like he'd bring a lot more electricity to that offense.
What you mean by that?
I mean that there is no electric plays come out of Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. That's what I mean.
What you mean by that?
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
But yeah, bro. I mean, that's going to wrap up the pod for today. We want to thank y'all for tuning in, especially if it's your first time. If it's not your first time, still thank you for tuning in every week. We will be back Friday morning to hit y'all with the heat. Mm-hmm. And we will see y'all next time. You got anything to say?
All I have to say is fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Keep bounding, baby. Go Panthers. Go Bucks too. OH.